of the Home Affairs Select Committee.
With me now is Blitz, Professor of International Politics at Middlesex University. Now, you've just written a book on migration and freedom. I want to pick up what Keith Ayres was saying there. Is it your belief that these are people travelling to Britain for a better life, to earn money because the jobs here are better, or are they simply escaping a life which they think is going to be sheer hell and misery?
I dare say both. There are very good reasons why people undertake very long and dangerous journeys trying to reach places of safety, and Britain has been identified as a place of safety.
Everybody says this needs to be tackled at source. What does that mean?
That's a good question, because what Keith Ayres was suggesting is that the source is North Africa, but the source isn't North Africa. The source lies in the countries of origin from which these people are coming from. And that's in some cases in Afghanistan, that's in East Africa, it's in Eritrea and Ethiopia, and Sudan. You mentioned Darfur. So this is where the instability begins, and this is the point at which people start to map out their journeys, their exit strategies from Africa, which take them over thousands of kilometers across the desert before they get to North Africa, before they get to the Mediterranean. So really, by the time people get to Calais, they will have endured so many dangers along the way. Calais really is the last point in this.
David Cameron, President Hollande could meet every hour, every day. They're not going to solve that particular issue, are they? So what are the proposals that make sense, where you might be able to stop this deadly journey for so many now from being needed?
The reason why people undertake these deadly journeys is because there are no legal routes to asylum, and there are very few legal routes to migration that are currently available to people. We know that if people have the opportunity to seek asylum, either whether it's in country of origin, or if people are able to undertake journeys which don't require them to either risk crossing the Mediterranean in unseaworthy vessels, or indeed harness themselves underneath lorries, that they would prefer to do so. But those options have not been made available.
Is that because in the British, the French public mind, the word asylum is synonymous with the word immigration now, that they're two, for want of a better word, they're two evils as far as anybody in a country which would be their preferred destination are concerned, and that's why the politicians aren't prepared to tackle that? Well,
there's absolutely nothing evil about seeking asylum. Everyone has the right to seek asylum. It is a basic human right. But I agree with you that there is this confusion that these people are just presented as migrants, even though many of them have genuine claims of persecution and would legitimately qualify for refugee status. But that is not what is being offered.
Applying for asylum is fine, as long as there's somewhere to go where you'll be looked after and where you can get on with your life. There are discussions in the last few days of, well, perhaps create their own place where they can go, a new country, if you like. Is that even feasible?
I don't think that's feasible. I think that we need to return to what has been agreed, what previously was very much the state of play, and that is that this is a European issue. Keith Ayres is absolutely correct when he says that. But a number of European countries are either not processing claims for asylum, or they're simply facilitating the exit of people, or they're containing them, and they're offering solutions built around repression. And none of these solutions are respecting the human rights of migrants, which again is a fundamental European commitment. So we need to return to that in the first instance. And with respect to the situation in France and the massings of people in Calais, people should not be left in situations where they're destitute and they're forced to undertake these hazardous journeys, again, jumping onto lorries or harnessing themselves under lorries, because the French authorities are not providing a proper system of reception. So that is the first thing that we should address. And then look at how is it that people's claims to asylum can be assessed, in effect, if there are legitimate claims to asylum, or indeed, if it is that these people are determined to be economic migrants, if they don't have the right to stay, well then that is that sets in train a whole other set of policies, including the potential return, if it is possible.
Blitz, it's good of you to come in. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A computer programmer has been